Ever since the fourth generation Suzuki Jimny came out in 2018, I've been wanting to feature it in my channel. However, everybody knows that there's a long line of buyers and production shortages worldwide, so my chances of featuring this venerable off-roader were pretty slim. Until now. Friends, I'd like you to meet my dream baby off-roader, the Suzuki Jimny All Grip Pro. Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Jimny. Are you ready? Let's do this. Hello guys, I'm Reagan and welcome back to another car review. If you're new to my channel, I hope you hit that subscribe button and become part of the Reagan's Rides family. If you're my subscriber already, thank you so much for your support by watching this video. I also hope that you give it a like. Also, special thanks to Suzuki Manila Bay for this awesome opportunity to feature this elusive baby off-roader right here. They even gave me this awesome looking Suzuki Jimny shirt. So if you're looking to get a Jimny and fall in line, you might as well get it from Suzuki Manila Bay so that you get this awesome looking Jimny shirt as well. Now, to do that, you can head on down here to Suzuki Manila Bay and check them out. Or if you have any inquiries, you may also contact the person in my description below. The Suzuki Jimny is one of the most popular off-roaders ever with a cult following that's pretty similar to the Mazda Miata. In fact, one of our local Jimny owners, Dr. Raquel Fortun, ended up buying 4 Suzuki vehicles in her garage. That's how much of an influencer the Suzuki Jimny is. It's small, affordable, yet perfectly capable to go into any terrain that even larger off-roaders would have some trouble getting into. Now, this top-spec Jimny GLX that I have here retails for 1,175,000 Philippine pesos, which may seem a bit on the pricey side until you realize that you're getting an off-roading icon for that price. The mere fact that the wait lines for the Jimny can reach as much as a year long is a testament to the affordable price level of this off-roader. Now, that price tag applies to the stock GLX Jimny because what I have here has a few dealer accessories that's been fitted on, which you can also avail of here at Suzuki Manila Bay. Now, that's what I like about the Suzuki Jimny. It looks great while stock, but you can modify it to your heart's content. Want a baby Defender Jimny D? Done. How about a G Class Jimny? Well, somebody beat you to it. Mods can go from mild to wild, and that's why I love this SUV so much. It's got such great bones to begin with. Now, while it's stock, the front fascia lends a totally retro theme to it. From the circular LED headlights here to the exposed headlight washers, even to the separated circular turn signals, gives it that timeless look that will surely age well. Now, this whole retro theme going on to it is what endeared this 4th generation Jimny to millions of fans worldwide. Now, the Suzuki Jimny's side profile will show you why it's such a capable off-roader. The short front overhang here gives you an aggressive 37-degree approach angle, while the short wheelbase will give you a 28-degree breakover angle. Now, the rear overhang is also pretty slim, which gives you an aggressive 49-degree departure angle, which makes sure that you will clear all the obstacles that you're going through in your Suzuki Jimny. Now, the ground clearance is a little bit on the tame side at 210 millimeters, but the wading capacity is a more capable 300 millimeters. Now, the wheels and the tires of the Jimny are pretty standard for a small SUV. You've got 15 inches here in a nice gunmetal finish, and it's wrapped in 195/80 R15 all-season tires. Now, behind these wheels, you've got a pretty retro braking system. The Jimny has a solid disc brake up front and rear drum brakes at the rear end. Now, for its suspension setup, this is a hardcore 4x4 off-roader, so you get a 3-link solid axle both in the front and the rear end, and you have coil springs on all 4 corners. Now, this is a classic 3-door SUV, so when you open the door, you'll see that you've got a nice solid thunk for your doors, but there are rumors, guys, that a newer 5-door version of the Jimny is about to go online. Now, that would be quite an interesting and exciting proposition. The Suzuki Jimny's rear end continues on with a retro vibe, with the spare tire mounted exactly where it should be. Now, this top-spec GLS also comes with this spare tire cover, which is also pretty cool. Now, this unit that I have here has been fitted with these dealer option LED taillights here that are pretty good looking. These are, as I mentioned, LED taillights, and they also have sequential turn signals. Now, if you need these taillights, well, you could always get them here at Suzuki Manila Bay. Now, when you pop open the tailgate, you see you'll be treated to exactly 85 liters of cargo capacity. Now, that wouldn't be able to house a week's worth of groceries, but it could still carry some of the more essential stuff, like a crash helmet and a pair of boots. See? These two items fit comfortably well in the 85 liters of cargo capacity that the Jimny has. Now, if you're going to take your Jimny on a grocery run and you need more space, well, you could always tumble down the back seats, and that should give you a more usable 377 liters of cargo capacity. Now, the Jimny will make you choose between your friends or your stuff because you really couldn't have both. And that's why the more practical 5-door Jimny, the rumored 5-door Jimny, is highly anticipated well because of its more practical dimensions. Now, the power plant of the Jimny is not its strongest suit because this thing manages to max out at a top speed of only 160 kilometers per hour if you're that brave. Now, what we have here is a 1.5-liter naturally aspirated 4-banger that puts out 100 horses and 130 Newton-meters of torque. Now, the Jimny is a 4x4 SUV, so power can be sent to all four wheels. But if you're just in too high, power will be sent to the rear wheels via a 4-speed automatic transmission. I know, a 4-speed auto in 2021. Well, guys, please do remember that the Jimny is not really built to go on highway runs. The whole retro theme of the Jimny extends all the way inside the cabin, and I am really liking the look, guys. Now, if you're expecting a really plush, fancy cabin inside your SUV, well, you might as well look elsewhere because that is not the strongest suit of the Jimny. This is surrounded by pretty much hard plastics, guys. These are all hard plastics, which are very practical because it's easy to hose them down if ever you take your Jimny out on a river crossing. Now, these hard plastics are very, very easy to clean, as well as the seats. The seats are made of fabric material, so that's quite easy to maintain as well. These are not power adjustable seats though. I'm not really going to expect that in such a rugged 4x4 SUV. However, the leather steering wheel is, well, leather, and that's a bit of a concession when it comes to comfort. I'm also quite surprised to find that the steering wheel also has a cruise control function, so that's another bit of a luxurious amenity inside this Jimny, at least for the top spec GLX variant. Now, this Jimny also has a wheel that adjusts for tilt, but it doesn't really telescope, guys. So yeah, at least in a way that should help a little bit more in terms of finding your driving position, your perfect driving position. Now, when you look at the analog gauges, I love how these analog gauges are like a throwback to the 70s, like those hardcore 4x4 off-roaders from the 70s. You've got a nice orange or amber lighting here, and you have a nicely separated tachometer and speedometer in this housing that is squarish, but it's also circular. I am really digging this look, guys. I mean, the way they designed this housing with this exposed rivets here and its square housing and this, with the circle in the middle, wow, this is really, really fantastic. Now, you do get an LCD display in the middle to display some of your vital stats, so that's also a concession to modernity. Now, when you look at the infotainment system, if the instrument gauge cluster is a throwback to the 70s, the infotainment system is thankfully much more modern. You get a 9-inch touchscreen display here that has Bluetooth connectivity and only Bluetooth connectivity. Well, you do have smartphone mirroring for Android phones, but you don't get Apple CarPlay. Luckily, the top spec variant also gets a reverse camera here, so that's also a good thing, especially since you have a large tire cover at the back of your Jimny. Now, this also has your clinometer, which should be especially useful when you're going off-roading. From your infotainment system here, you also have a fully automatic climate control system, and I love how they designed this. Kind of reminds me of a Caterpillar, guys, but it's really a cool look for the Jimny. You also have toggle switches here for your power windows and also your hill descent control and traction control. Now, of course, this is a 4-speed automatic, so we have the transmission here. And I love the fact that the 4-wheel drive modes of the Jimny is not switchable using those buttons or rotary knobs, but rather you're still using this cute little 4-wheel drive gear shifter here. This is something that I truly love, and this means that the Jimny is still sticking to its roots as well, a retro-themed 4x4 off-roader. Traditional handbrake here finishes off the look. You don't really get a center armrest here, but you do have a couple of cup holders in the middle, which we'll see if it passes in my Clean Canteen test. Now we put it in the squarish cup holder. It fits there, it fits quite snugly, so I'll give it a pass, guys. These cup holders will do the job for you. Now, when you look at the whole cabin area of this Jimny, you even have a nice grab handle here when you're taking some rough terrain, and you have a really just straightforward, basic, no frills, utilitarian cockpit area that will just get the job done. Now, let's hop over to the back seat and see if my 5'6" frame can fit in the back seat of the Jimny. Alright guys, so I'm now at the back seat of the Suzuki Jimny, and as you can see, well, it is quite comfy here. I was decently surprised, guys. I wasn't expecting that this is going to be quite spacious. But yeah, for my 5'6" frame, this is pretty decent. Since the Jimny is a squarish SUV, I got a good amount of headroom here. I'm looking at around 7 inches of headroom. Now, this is my driving position here. Unfortunately, the knee room is more like 3 inches left. So yeah, if you're a taller person than me, you might find it a little bit cramped, especially on the knee space here. But yeah, surprisingly, I fit here, and I wouldn't really mind going on a long trip or on a long drive here at the back seat of the Jimny. But of course, it would be much better if I am seated up front, or even better, in the driver's seat. Now for toys, well, don't expect any toys here, guys. The back seat is really more of like a practical back seat space for ferrying a couple more people in a pinch. But yeah, this is more of a cargo space area. So yeah, cargo doesn't need USB ports or AC vents or whatever. So now let's hop back to the driver's seat and take this Jimny out for an on-road spin, because well, I'm not really near any off-road site. So yeah, and most Jimnys spend like 80% of the time on paved roads anyway. So let's go for that drive right now. Alright guys, we are now behind the wheel of the Suzuki Jimny, and let's take a moment of silence because wow, I am driving one of my dream off-roaders. I know, it's an affordable vehicle and I could always get one, but it's not the money, guys. It's more of the permission from my significant other if I could still get a second toy, because I already got my Miata. Wow. Rough roads? What's that? When you're driving the Jimny, there are no such thing as rough roads here in the city. Let's take a corner. Let's see how it goes. Whoa. Yes, there is a lot of body roll, which is expected from a truck with almost zero aerodynamics. Man. Now, another thing that I noticed with this Jimny is just how truck-like the steering feels. You see, this is not your regular power steering assembly, but this is more like a rotating ball power steering assembly. So yeah, it has that truck-like feel to it. You do know that you are driving a hardcore off-roader here. Wow. Now let's try to accelerate a little bit in this Jimny. Now, surprisingly, despite the 4-speed automatic and despite the 100 horsepower tiny engine that this baby SUV has, well, the acceleration is pretty quick. It's sprightly, it's quick on its feet, and it's so much fun to drive, guys. I mean, wow. Yeah, this is impractical. It doesn't have too much space, and yeah, you wouldn't be going off-roading all the time. But who cares? Who cares? I love how spacious the cabin feels. I love how this boxy body makes me feel like I'm driving like a 70 series Land Cruiser. Oh man, oh yeah. See, off the line, this Jimny is pretty quick. Granted, acceleration is really, it's not going to be like a drag race warrior, but that's not what this thing is built for. Yeah, I know I should have taken this on an off-road run, but then this is also not a demo unit. This has been so graciously lent out to me by the good people from Wheels Incorporated so that I could give you this fantastic review, guys. You see, the Jimny is really just that good. I mean, there's a lot of hype going on with this car. And I'm not even on an off-road trail. I'm still here inside the city. But it's really that good. The ride, it's perfectly decent for a daily driver as long as you don't need too much space. That's why it's pretty much like a Mazda Miata. It's perfectly okay to daily drive it as long as you don't need the space. But this thing can take you from the road to the field, to the trail, and up the mountains. No problems. Oh, yeah, see? You see how the steering is very truck-like. It has a good amount of heft to it. It has a good feedback. I love the feedback. That should help you very well when you're going off-roading, guys. But when you're taking turns, you have to remember that despite the small size, it is still a truck. You see, guys, driving this thing, I mean, I am really, really so happy that I got a chance to drive this thing right now. I mean, if ever I'm going to get something like this, I'll have to wait like close to a year to get it. Now, luckily, well, there is a plant in India that has gone online and have started manufacturing Jimny, so maybe, hopefully, the lines would also diminish a little bit. Now, another good thing that I noticed here is that despite being a truck, being a 4x4 off-roader, this Jimny has a pretty good level of NVH. Granted, when you're accelerating like what we're doing now on this open road, well, you could hear the engine. You could hear it like giving you the goods. And that's because, well, I really like to drive fast. And that's a bit of an anti-thema to what type of driver I am. Because I really love the Jimny, yet it really couldn't go fast. But I still love it. It's so much fun to drive, guys. It is so crazy fun to drive. The driving position is so upright. I feel like I'm in a smaller, like, Defender. More reliable too. And it's got a good amount of safety bits inside this Jimny. You've got airbags. You've got hill start assist, I think. I'm actually going off script right here now. Yeah, so yeah. When it comes to safety, it's still pretty good. It's got a couple of airbags, it's got ABS, it's got stability control, and it also has hill descent control, so that's also good. So it has the basic safety features that you need from a regular, basic, technologically averse SUV. Now, you got a good level of technology, at least in your infotainment system, but the entire feel of this car is, wow, it is so retro. And I am loving it, guys. All right. Now, as much as I want to take this out on the trail, as I mentioned, guys, well, we are really constrained from doing that. So maybe sometime in the future, I could take it out to the trail and see what it's really made of. But for now, well, we're just doing an on-road review because most of the time, 80% of the time, the Jimny will be spending its driving period on paved roads. The Suzuki Jimny ranks high in my list of desirable 4x4 SUVs, having a place in my wish list along with the Ford Ranger Raptor. It's pretty much the Mazda Miata of off-road SUVs. It's small, affordable, and completely capable. Now, if only I can convince my wife to make room in our garage for another small toy. But until then, thanks for watching.